Welcome to the tutorial series for Water in the Earth. This is a content assessment in science for middle school within the Summit platform. But even if you're not using the Summit platform, this is a video that could be useful if you're trying to learn about concepts like erosion and weathering and how it changes the Earth. We're going to cover three objectives. The first one is the difference between weathering and erosion. The second one is how erosion and deposition work together to change the surface of the Earth. And the third one is going to break down and talk about different types of erosion, as well as the factors that affect it, including how humans play a part on it. So let's get started with the first objective, which is the different types of weathering. So you have mechanical weathering and chemical weathering. Technically, there's also biological weathering, but I call that as a type of mechanical weathering because it has to do with animals moving around in the soil. But essentially, chemical weathering is whatever there is weathering that's caused by something like acids or chemicals that break down the rock chemically, right? So an example would be acid rain dissolving the rock. Mechanical weathering, though, is mostly by abrasion. So things that are hitting the rock, causing the rock to break apart. That could be a rock against another rock because of a landslide. It could be humans literally carving through the rock, or animals walking over or burrowing on it. The wind, water, ice wedging, glaciers, many kinds of erosion will cause mechanical weathering. Do note that when weathering is caused by life forms, it's also called biological weathering, but all types of biological weathering are generally mechanical. I guess technically you could say that chemicals produced by bacteria and by the roots of trees or even the urine of animals could contribute to chemical erosion. But for the most part, biological weathering is going to be mechanical in nature. All right. There are exceptions, like I just mentioned, though. So I guess there could be a different category here. But the ones you're going to see in the content assessment are mostly going to be comparing chemical and mechanical weathering, which is why I did it this way. All right, so here's an examples again of chemical and mechanical weathering with the category for biological weathering to make those that were rooting for that happy. So physical weathering, again, water, wind, ice, gravity, literally breaking down the rock by hitting it. Chemical weathering, things like rust, water depositing chemicals, acid rain, and biological weathering, things like roots or bacteria, lichen, animals burrowing, insects, humans, anything that's caused by that, which technically, like I said, constitute versions of physical or chemical weathering, depending on what it is. You know, roots breaking down the soil, or animals burrowing, or animals or humans carving through the rock, that's just physical weathering. But a lichen or a bacteria or a root producing a chemical that breaks down the rock, that's more chemical weathering. So whichever way you want to look at it, as a separate category or as subsets of physical and chemical weathering works for me. But remember, the test is mostly going to be comparing these two. So just ask yourself, is it corrosion or is it abrasion? Is it hitting it or is it something that's a chemical reaction? And then there you go. All right. All right. On to objective 2, we're going to talk about in the next video, we're going to define erosion and deposition. I'll see you then.